This is an ultrastructure of a generalized animal cell. And in this video tutorial, we are going to learn about organization of an animal cell. Well, an animal cell is a eukaryotic cell, What does that mean? A eukaryotic cell is that cell which contains nucleus. Okay. Nucleus of an animal cell or eukaryotic cell is actually largest organelle. Is the largest organelle in a animal cell. Now, you would be thinking that what is an organelle? Well, organelle, singular, and if it is plural, then you'll have to add s to it. Organelles or organelle, you can think of them as organs of our body. Like in a human body, we have many organs. We have liver, we have kidney, we have heart, and so on. All these organs have actually a unique and specific role to perform. In the same way, organelles in a cell have some specific and unique role to perform. What organs are to our body, organelles are to a cell. Okay, so there is analogy between organelles and organs of our body. Okay, so we said that nucleus is the largest organelle. Now, one more important thing. An organelle can be of two types. Organelle can be membrane-bound organelles, as the name suggests that it will be bound with a membrane, okay, and it can be non-membranous. As the name suggests, it's not covered with any membrane. So organelles are of two types, membrane-bound and non-membranous. Nucleus, as we said, is the largest organelle. So the question is whether nucleus is membrane-bound organelle or is a non-membranous organelle. Well, the answer is that nucleus is actually a membrane-bound organelle. Let us see here. This is our nucleus. In a cell, mostly, nucleus is located in the center of the cell. Okay, mostly, not always. And we said that nucleus is actually a membrane-bound organelle. So this is our nucleus. Okay, and where are the membranes? Well, let me shade it here. What I'm shading right now is actually the membrane, this one. It covers nucleus, it bounds nucleus. It's a protective layer for nucleus. It separates nucleus from the outside world of the cell. Okay, so all these are actually the membranes. These membranes are actually called nuclear envelope. This membrane, that is nucleus membrane, is actually nuclear envelope. So nuclear envelope is the membrane of nucleus. Now, you can see here, there are some gaps, right? You can see some spaces between the nuclear envelope. These spaces or holes are actually nuclear pores. Okay, these are small holes these are, or pores, these are called nuclear pores. The nucleus contains DNA materials. Okay. So the coded information of any cell resides in nucleus. Whatever you can see here, these filaments like structures, what we have named them is euchromatin, and these white structures we have named them as heterochromatin. This nucleolus, we have named this region is called nucleolus. All these heterochromatin, euchromatin and nucleolus are actually related to DNA material. Now we're not going to discuss in detail about functioning of a cell, that is how DNA works and all, because we will cover these topics in our future videos. My point is only to explain you how an animal cell is organized. Okay, so we have discussed till now about nucleus, and we learned that nuclear envelope is actually the nuclear membrane of a nucleus. Now let's talk about other organelles. What you can see here, what we have named it as rough endoplasmic reticulum. Rough endoplasmic reticulum. But wait a second. This rough endoplasmic reticulum is actually connected to the nuclear envelope, right? Nuclear envelope is actually in continuity with this rough endoplasmic reticulum. Same thing here. You can see here, all these are actually connected, right? That's what actually is. A nuclear envelope is actually continuous with another organelle that's called rough endoplasmic reticulum. That's called rough endoplasmic reticulum. So if this was the nuclear envelope, then it is in continuity with another organelle, that is rough endoplasmic reticulum. Rough endoplasmic reticulum, RER. Okay, this one. Now you can see here, it has some dotted structures, right? Some granules on this rough endoplasmic reticulum. Let me draw them here, like this. You have some structures on this organelle. So the first question is rough endoplasmic reticulum a membrane bound organelle or it is a non-membranous organelle? Well, the answer is, since it's very clear that it is actually connected to nuclear envelope, it means that rough endoplasmic reticulum will also be a membrane bound, because it's actually what? Membrane only. Okay. The thing is, what are these actually? These are actually ribosomes. These are actually ribosomes. The presence of ribosomes on this endoplasmic reticulum makes it rough. That is why we call them as rough endoplasmic reticulum. If it is not clear to you, let me show one thing. Can you see this organelle here? This organelle is also a membrane bound organelle. That is, it is bound by a membrane, and it's actually what? It's smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Okay. How is rough endoplasmic reticulum different from smooth endoplasmic reticulum? You can clearly see that in rough endoplasmic reticulum you have some dotted structures, granule-like structures here. But on smooth endoplasmic reticulum we don't have any such structures. That's what makes rough endoplasmic reticulum rough. That's why we call them as rough endoplasmic reticulum and we call them as smooth endoplasmic reticulum. But wait a second. We have some ribosomes here also, right? They are called what? Free ribosomes. Why? Because they are not bound with any organelle. They are free inside the cell. Okay. But these ribosomes are actually what? These ribosomes are endoplasmic reticulum bound ribosomes. These ribosomes are not free since they are bound to this membrane of endoplasmic reticulum, that is of rough endoplasmic reticulum. That is why we say that these ribosomes are actually endoplasmic reticulum bound ribosomes, and that's why they are different from free ribosomes. These free ribosomes are free inside the cell. Okay, this is actually mitochondrion. Mitochondrion is singular. Mitochondrion is singular and mitochondria is plural. This is actually powerhouse of the cell. Power is generated here. We're not going to discuss in deep here. We'll leave that discussion for future videos. So this is also a membrane bound organelle. You can see here membrane, right? It's a membrane bound organelle. By the way, free ribosomes and endoplasmic reticulum bound ribosomes, they are not membrane bound. They are non-membranous organelle. Okay. Now we can see here we have some other stack-like structures, right? Some stacks there. These are actually Golgi apparatus. Golgi apparatus. Golgi apparatus or Golgi complex. Okay. These are also membrane bound organelles. This organelle, we have named it as microbodies. So we have many microbodies in our cell. So in our cells, these microbodies actually contain enzymes. So these microbodies are also membrane bound organelle. Okay. Then we have lysosomes. Then we have endosomes. Lysosomes and endosomes, these are also membrane bound organelle. Okay. Then you can see these small structures. These are actually vesicles. Here also we have vesicles, here also we have vesicles, here also we have vesicles. Vesicles perform the function of storing something. Okay. And vesicles are also, they are temporary. Vesicles are also membrane bound organelle in our cell, in an animal cell. Okay. Now we have this rod-like structure, right? This rod-like structure. These structures are actually called microtubules. What are they called? They are called microtubules. Then you have these structures, these filament-like structures. These are actually called intermediate filaments. Intermediate filaments and microtubules. Now, can you see these structures? Very fine, thin structures. These are actually all over the cell, and they are what? They are microfilaments. Microfilaments, microtubules, and intermediate filaments. These all three, microfilaments, intermediate filaments, and microtubules, these three actually are cytoskeleton. These are cytoskeleton. These organelles are non-membranous organelle. Again, microfilament, microtubules, intermediate filaments, these all together form cytoskeleton of a cell, and these are non-membranous. Okay, now the main thing is this final boundary of the cell. Okay, this final boundary. This is actually the cell membrane. We have represented it here. We have written this is cell membrane. Cell membrane or plasma membrane or plasma lemma. Plasma lemma. Okay, these are names of this membrane that surrounds the cell, that protects the cell, a barrier of a cell. Okay, from this plasma membrane or the plasma lemma, you can see some projections here, right? These are actually called microvilli. Microvilli is plural. Microvilli is plural, and microvillus is actually singular. Don't worry, we will discuss them in detail very properly in our future videos. It's just a representation of an animal cell. Now, between the plasma membrane and the nuclear envelope, this nuclear envelope, the first rounded structure, between the plasma membrane and the nuclear envelope, the region is actually called cytoplasm. What's called? Cytoplasm. Cytoplasm. Between plasma membrane and the nuclear membrane lies the area, the region that is called what? Cytoplasm. Okay. Now, this cytoplasm is actually filled with a viscous fluid. You can think of it as a sea. Okay. This cytoplasm region is actually filled with viscous fluid. And this viscous fluid is called cytosol or hyaloplasm. So this cytoplasm region that is between the plasma membrane and the nuclear envelope, this cytoplasm is filled with viscous fluid called cytosol or hyaloplasm, and in that viscous fluid lies all these organelles. Even the nucleus is in the center, but it's surrounded with that viscous fluid. This organelle, this organelle, this organelle, this organelle, this organelle, this organelle, these all are inside that viscous fluid. That is the cytosol or the hyaloplasm. Okay. This region cytoplasm, and this plasma membrane, the cytoplasm plus plasma membrane or plasma lemma or the cell membrane, when you take them together, cytoplasm plus plasma lemma, then you call it cytosome. So what is cytosome? Cytosome is cytoplasm plus plasma lemma. What is cytosol? Cytosol is a viscous fluid that is present in cytoplasm, in which all the other organelles are actually floating. Now, you know what? In this viscous fluid and in all these organelles are actually taking place numerous chemical reactions taking place, numerous chemical reactions. I'm just removing some of them so that I could create a space. Okay, lot of chemical reactions are taking place within the organelle and within the cytosol, and these chemical reactions, together, chemical reactions when combined together, the chemical reactions that are taking place within these organelles and the chemical reactions that are taking place in this cytosol, that is a viscous fluid, they chyme in harmoniously. They chyme in harmoniously or they chyme in, and that is when these chemical reactions, when they get converted into biochemical reactions, they are actually what they make biochemical reactions, and these biochemical reactions actually, sometimes they form some biomolecules, and on the other hand, some biomolecules are being degraded. So biomolecules are being formed, they are being degraded, and therefore these biochemical reactions keep us alive. If the living organisms are alive, then it is due to the reason of these chemical reactions that are actually biochemical reactions that is giving us energy and that is keeping us alive. Since biomolecules are being formed and several biomolecules are being degraded, therefore this biochemical reactions that is taking place in a cell is actually what? Metabolic reactions. Metabolic reactions. Metabolic reactions actually comes from metaboly. Metaboly means change. Since biomolecules are being formed, are being degraded, they are ever changing. They are being continuously made. They are being continuously being degraded in our cell. That's what it is changing. It's ever changing process. That is why it is called metabolic reactions. These metabolic reactions keep us alive. That what makes a life. Okay, and you know what? When some reactions are taking place within the cytosol and some are taking place in the organelles, the chemical reactions taking place here, taking place here, and all, they all are very unique and specific, and that's why these all organelles, all the chemical reactions coordinate with one another. They harmoniously work with one another in order to create homeostasis, cellular homeostasis. Cellular homeostasis. Cellular homeostasis means what? A kind of equilibrium, a kind of ideal state. Okay, it prevents from going into a state of abnormality. Your body will do everything in order to protect itself. Okay, therefore the cellular homeostasis means that all these chemical reactions are actually taking place very well in a coordinated manner. Okay, that's what makes a cellular homeostasis. And all these metabolic reactions actually give what? Cellular metabolism. Okay, since all these chemical reactions taking place in organelles are very well compartmentalized, right? Organelles are working as a compartment. This is working as a separate compartment. This is working as a separate compartment. This is working as a separate compartment. That is why these organelles actually establish compartmentalized Compartmentalization. These organelles establish compartmentalization. It means that this is one compartment where a different kind of chemical reaction is taking place. This is another organelle where different kind of chemical reaction is taking place, and this is different kind of compartment. That is what compartmentalization. And all these comparts, they work harmoniously. They coordinate with each other in order to maintain the life, in order to keep us alive, in order to maintain the cellular homeostasis. Okay. Now, since we have discussed all those things, let's understand this with a diagram. We said that cell is made up of nucleus, the largest cell organelle, and the cytosome. Okay. Cytosome is actually plasma membrane plus cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is actually formed structures and cytosol. Okay. We learned about cytosol, that's a viscous fluid, but what is formed structures? Don't worry. Formed structures are actually divided into two parts. One is cytoplasmic organelles. Whatever organelles we have learned here are actually formed structures. And that's what cytoplasmic organelles are. But wait a second. What are these cell inclusions? Okay. What are these cell inclusions? Well, apart from these organelles, which are chemically active, they are metabolically active structures where lot of chemical reactions are taking place. We have some other structures inside the cell that are not metabolically active. That is, there is no chemical reaction is taking place within those structures. They can be, let me delete some part. They can be nutrient. Like in a liver cell, you'll have glycogen granules. In a fat cell, you'll have fat or lipid droplets. And you can have, apart from nutrients, you can have pigments like the skin color, okay, due to melanin, or in the hair, that gives color to those cells. Okay, so pigments, you can have pigments. So all these things, nutrients, pigments, and there are several other structures that are metabolically inactive. These are called cell inclusions. So apart from cell organelles, doesn't matter whether they are membrane bound or non-membranous, there are several cell inclusions. That's what we have written here. Now, as we learn that membrane bound organelles, the cytoplasmic organelles can be of two types. One type is membrane bound organelles. Another type is non-membranous organelles. The membrane-bound organelles examples are endoplasmic reticulum, both smooth and rough, Golgi apparatus or Golgi complex, mitochondria, lysosomes and endosomes, vesicles, and microbodies. These all are membrane-bound organelles. What are non-membranous organelles? We discussed that ribosomes are non-membranous, and cytoskeleton. The cytoskeleton is also that comprises microfilaments, microtubules, and intermediate filaments. These are also non-membranous organelles. So this was all about organization of an animal cell. Hope you understood it, and in the next couple of videos we'll discuss each organelle or each part of this cell in very detailed way.